All right. Hey, how are you guys doing today? This is Sonia, the Quantum Liberator, liberating you one subconscious pattern at a time. And today we're here talking, I'm gonna talk about the validation seeking pattern. So, validation seeking. This is something that I used to do all the time, especially when I was in the Marine Corps, overperforming and bodybuilding and just in life in general. I feel like I always had to call somebody to seek validation. And this is part of the nervous system patterns that I've been talking about. And they can always be rewired. So once you start to learn and become aware of the fact that these are nervous system patterns, they aren't who you truly are, you can, just that awareness alone, you can start to rewire the patterns. And so if your mood changes based on how people respond to you, this is why. So this is deeply human, but most people never move beyond it. You just keep feeling it and keep feeling it, and you never know what to do. And that was me in the past, where I always felt some type of way based on how people responded to me. And so it's basically looking for external approval looking for external approval to have internal safety. But we are the ones that create our own internal safety. Identity is not in your identity basically is not anchored internally. And so we want to start to anchor the identity we have in ourselves, to not seek that validation, because it doesn't matter what other people think or feel, because they are even seeing things through the lens of their wounds. And so we have to start to learn that other people's feelings aren't our responsibility, because once everybody is able to take responsibility for their own feelings and the way that they feel and figuring out why they feel the way that they feel, then I promise you we're going to have a better world. And so how this shows up, usually the validation seeking pattern, is that it shows up in like constantly checking messages, constantly checking your social media, needing reassurance all the time, taking things personally. And so even when I first started posting things online, I was in this pattern, basically checking to see how many followers I was getting, how many comments and likes. But when you stop looking for that stuff, and that stuff has no, basically no effect on your worthiness, and it might sound weird at first because you're like, well, I didn't know I was, I didn't know I was looking at it as me being worthy, you know, but that's really what it is. And so if like me having a lot of followers or comments validates my identity, then that's going to be, you're just going to have a bad time. So the key is to detach yourself from, and it can be done. I've done this. And this is why I actually feel like I've seen a growth in my social media, because before it was growing slow when I was constantly checking it. And now that I don't really, that I don't care. Like, I don't care. I just post things and just let it go to the universe. I don't constantly check. And then I'll check back one day and I'm like, oh shoot. Like, you know, so I used to take things really personally. Like whenever people like that fear of rejection, I always took things personally. And then when I changed the way that I took it, like I don't take anything personal anymore, because everybody is coming from the lens of their own wounds. And so I don't take anything personally anymore. I just kind of just see it as data about that person, if that makes sense. And it's not even judging them either, because a lot of these patterns I used to have. So I'm not judging anybody. I'm just seeing where people are at, basically. And so the cost of this pattern is hold on a second. So the cost of this pattern is basically emotional instability, giving your power away, and fear of being seen authentically. So a lot of us fear being seen authentically because we don't think we have ideas of what people will think of us if we say the things that we really want to say or do the things that we really want to do. And I used to be this way. There was a time where I was constantly thinking about what other people would think about certain things that I said. But when you're able to rewire it, you don't care anymore. You're just like, look, I'm just going to speak authentically, because the thing is, when you start to speak authentically and you don't care what people think, that's when you start to actually attract the people in your life that are more aligned with you. And so here's the reframe. So your worth isn't something other people get to decide. And the body awareness here is what shifts in your body. Like, ask yourself the question, what shifts in my body when someone doesn't respond to, when somebody doesn't respond how I expected, basically. What shifts in my body when someone doesn't respond how I expected them to? And the thing is, I've noticed that I had a pattern. I was always predicting what people, how people were going to respond to me, and this was based off of how people have responded to me in the past. And so that's why, most of the time I was getting that response. But when you're actually able to stay more open to how people can respond to you, you start to get surprised. And then you have a new baseline in your nervous system by how people can respond to you. And the better that you start to receive responses, the better basically you start attracting more people that respond to you like that, or those same people respond to you differently. It's all about the vibration inside of you, because whatever your internal state is inside is what you're going to see, is how people are going to respond to you, no matter who it is. They can respond to others completely differently because of the internal state of those people, if that makes sense. This is like law of polarity type stuff. So this is where we build. This is where we build internal safety instead of chasing external approval. So we start to build internal safety within ourselves. And that's what I had to do. It took a little bit of time, but I constantly caught myself and kept reframing things and working on things. And now I don't seek any type of validation. Like, I don't care what other people think. I just speak my truth, and whoever likes it, and whoever doesn't. And that's fine. And I've actually attracted more people in my life that I can actually talk about this stuff with, who are on a more of a aligned level to where I am. So I'm going to end it right there. But if you guys want to actually look into some of my work and what I do with people, you can always go to my website, soniaachara.com. All right. You guys have a great rest of your day.